Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. It's here. First of all, I didn't know this was coming out until a couple weeks ago. They dropped
I didn't
the
know
trailer.
about it until you mentioned it yesterday.
So they just dropped the trailer a couple weeks ago, and then it's on Paramount Plus, and it's exclusively on Paramount Plus. But let me just say, I'm a fan of Beavis and Butthead. I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead on MTV. Watching Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead did reaction videos before reaction videos were a thing. So if you know anything about the old MTV show, it was Beavis and Butthead basically watching music videos and then making fun of them. They were effectively doing reaction videos. And that was the way to kind of suffer through. I was not like a fan of a lot of the mainstream music that was on MTV. I preferred some more of the late night shows, alternative or like new wave music and whatnot, punk rock kind of stuff. And that was occasionally made it on the channel. And then the channel was dominated by like things like, you know, Aha or whatever, just like the stuff that was just more pop culture, mainstream, whatever. So fine. But Beavis and Butthead, which came from a short film that Mike Judge made called, I believe it was called Frog Baseball.
Yeah.
Where they're basically taking frogs and using them as balls in a game of baseball. And it was a little short film he made, and it screened on a late night show, I believe it was on Sunday nights, called Liquid Television. And Liquid Television was just, it was like a short film program at a festival. It was just a series of short animated shorts. And that's where Mike Judge, he got, offered like, hey, do you want to do this as a regular show? He just did an interview on Rogan where he talks about this. I mean, I knew a little bit about this before, but his Rogan interview is really good. And obviously timed to this movie coming out. And then, of course, Beavis and Butthead Do America, I believe, came out in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. Was it 97? Somewhere around then. And it was, I mean, it's a dumb road comedy, almost like the plot of an indie movie. And let's get into Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. It's on Paramount Plus. First of all, you know, I haven't watched anything Beavis and Butthead in probably over a decade, more than that. It's great to see the sense of humor back. Nothing's changed. It's as if they just made this movie in the 90s. Now, what's weird is it starts in the 90s and they get teleported to the present day, which is hysterical. We'll get into that. Not too many story spoilers. I'm not sure if story spoilers really matter with this movie all that much. But what's great is it's Beavis and Butthead, you know, just completely commenting on everything in the culture. And they're just as they were preserved, like horny teenagers, they just want to score. You know, both of them just want to score. And it's, first of all, why was this movie not released in theaters? It's much more entertaining to me than Bob's Burgers. And maybe it's because I wasn't a fan of Bob's Burgers before I saw the movie, but I gave it a positive review. I thought it was entertaining. This is just, oh my God, so what happens is basically Beavis and Butthead get sentenced to go to space camp where they're basically working on this rocket where they're having a rocket go in and out of a silo, in and out. And the people at the camp recognize, like, oh my God, these teenagers, they're geniuses. Of course, they're doing it because they're just horny teenagers reenacting sex acts with a space capsule. And then they say, well, you should come on this mission with us. They're blown into a black hole where they come into present day. And the people on the space shuttle think that they've murdered this woman on the space shuttle. What's her name? Is it
Serena?
Serena. Yeah. She thinks she's murdered them. And it's like, we're just going to keep this quiet. She ends up becoming the governor of Texas in the present day, 2022 America. They land in 2022 America, just out of this black hole. And of course, they're just horny and stupid as ever, and end up being chased by the FBI, by Serena and her lieutenant governor, which is hilarious. And they just experience present day culture. They get a phone, which they mistake as a television, and they just use the phone once they find out how to, you know, use it to pay for things. They just order nachos. The whole time they're just ordering nachos and eating nachos, making a mess of everything. And then to me, what I thought was one of the best scenes in the movie, commenting on present day culture, they walk through a college and they go to a gender studies course. And it is so hysterical because it's making fun of all this woke nonsense. This is really what studios, if you're going to make a comedy right now, just make fun of woke shit, because I feel like that just is going to resonate, because it needs to be mocked. And in one of the best scenes, you see like there's this professor, she's talking to them, and then the idea of white privilege comes up because they're two white kids, and then what's great is this black student starts to explain it, and then this guy who's totally a male feminist, he's got like the hair and like beads, and he's dressed like that, and he says, no, excuse me, he interrupts the black girl and then starts to explain it, and then like, look what I did such a good thing, explaining white privilege as a white guy, interrupting it just mocked that whole scene was probably one of the best scenes in the movie. Then as soon as they find out they have white privilege, they just start acting like assholes, like, which is what they normally would do, like cutting in the front of the line. Oh, I got white privilege, I'm just going to use my white privilege. Like I love it. And I kind of feel like this is ripe for comedy, because I think I do believe that there's sort of a, like, look, we're sick of this woke stuff. It's just like, look, stop being entitled babies and just, stop creating problems where none exist. Which is, to me, a lot of this nonsense, if you ask me. So, and some of it is rooted in genuine good things. Let's be fair. And having said that, a lot of it is just being used for power grabs and bullshit, in my opinion. So it's ripe for mocking. So my biggest complaint is, why is this not in the theater? Why is this not? I feel like this could have done so well. Maybe it's even counter programming to Lightyear, right? Like, there's nothing woke about it. It makes fun of wokeness, and it's in all the best ways, because it does what great satire does. It skewers the culture. It makes fun of everything. So
Yeah,
I loved it. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I'll tell you why it's not in the theaters. The biggest thing is marketing. And, if you're going to go to the theaters, you have to promote it, and literally, I didn't know this movie existed until you mentioned it yesterday.
Right.
That's how much promotion Paramount has done. But the thing is, I think that in a way it could be a smart move, in the sense of, I think this movie will succeed because of word of mouth, because people will start talking about it. And, I think you can't buy free publicity. That's basically how that goes. Well, and I think it'll do that. I think it'll do well. I think it'll catch on, maybe not today, but over the months, I think it'll catch on.
Well, for sure. But then how do you measure it? I mean, that's at least the box office. Mm-hmm. You can say, okay, Lightyear failed, right? Lightyear failed, and audiences rejected. I think part of that is the bad reputation that Disney has deservedly earned, mm-hmm. right? But we can't really have any gauge of how well it did. So let's go to the comments, because it sounds like a lot of people did see it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Dr. Death, my biggest complaint for Beavis and Butthead was the lack of new original music for a soundtrack. Oh, yeah, that's probably money, budget. Hannibal Grimm, I got bored halfway through Bob's Burgers, wandered out of the screening room, have yet to return. Dr. Death, the white privilege bit was genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Aaron Rosenfeld, the movie was way better than I expected it to be. Hannibal Grimm, I can't do it.
When that white guy was mansplaining white privilege, the thing I loved about it was the fact that not only did he interrupt her, but then he got in her space and blocked her camera shot.
That was so good. Like, that bit alone, they should be leaking bits online.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a fear that they're afraid there'll be some woke backlash? It's like, no, you got to have a sense of humor.
I mean, I want to feel like maybe we're heading in that direction finally, where we can start poking fun at wokeness. Yeah. And I think, to me, that I've seen a few movies that have attempted to do that, and I've always given them bonus points for that. Just tell a joke that is going to just irk people off. And just be bold about it. Just do it and don't apologize for it.
Yeah. Goober says Office Space and Idiocracy, some of the best comedies ever. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rosenfeld, Beavis and Butthead interacting with a smartphone is comedy gold. Yeah, that was great. But it's so great that they were able to bring them. They literally plucked them from the 90s, brought them to present day, and now they're in present day. They have to do a follow-up.
And they haven't changed.
Yeah.
How the world has changed. That's the best part about this movie.
Yeah, we need Beavis and Butthead more than ever. Fat Elvis says, Beavis, we're gonna score. Todd Packer is back. Oh, it's an amazing show. Very funny. Mm-hmm. Solomon Thornton, Mike Judge also made Office Space. freaking funny. Office Space, which holds up today. Shelby AC, I loved Liquid Television, so creative. Yes, Ian Flux came from Liquid Television, which is
I saw Frog Baseball at Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted.
Wow, I remember it was part of that. Shelby AC. I didn't know this was happening, but I really like Mike Judge. He seems cool. Hannibal Grimm, Beavis and Butthead, the Head and Flux and the Max all came from Liquid Television. Hannibal Grimm, that was great. And Derek Douglas asks, "Is there a guest today?" Absolutely. We have two guests today. The filmmakers behind Gatlop and what's the other one? Is a long title.
Green
Ghost and the Masters of the Stone. So we had two guests coming up starting at 10 a.m. in the next 30 minutes. But thank you for all. Look, here's what I'll say. I love this. We kind of need them more than ever, Beavis and Butthead. And I think this movie it's the right kind of social commentary now that we need now. We need like someone like a Mike Judge to point out like, hey, a lot of this stuff in college, it's pretty stupid. It's really stupid. And that, oh my God, that white guy thing where the white dude kind of like goes in front of her and then like, starts to explain white privilege in front of the black girl. Oh my God, it was just so, and then when they became like these, and you see just the way that the women were drawn in college was so much like, it's such a cliche. It just got all those things right. So do not miss this.
What I appreciate about Mike Judge is he is so smart about this stupid humor that he's portraying with Beavis and Butthead. It's not stupid for the sake of being stupid, but he's got something behind it that's just really twisting that knife into people.
And I'm surprised that comedy writers, comedians are not leaning into this more. You'll see it little by little, but I feel like you have to be fearless with this stuff. You just have to not care. You have to not care and just go for it. All right. So
watch the I want to say Norm Macdonald comedy special that just came out on Netflix. It is hilarious and it's quite touching too at the end as well.